How are you? How are you? Good.
Hi, my name is Bimi. I'm from Kerala in India. I am a pediatric nurse and I have been nursing for almost 12 years. I joined Communicare in 2020 March as a pediatric community nurse. As a community nurse, I work with children in their own homes. Now I work with Jack, who stays his own home with his family.
My dream for Communicare has always been that we'd be the best and that we'd provide the best service for our clients and be the best company for our staff to work with.
Providing care for these families is life-changing, really in every way. Some of these families have been in the hospital setting for over a year or 2 years. They're now home, so happy to be home, but more delighted to have the support of our nurses. And some of our children who are on respiratory support and ventilators have actually gone to school with the support of our nurses with them. Initially, we thought this could never be done. It hadn't been done. They are so happy because their children are now, like other children in mainstream school, where they never thought this would happen and that we could make it happen, which we did make happen, and to normalise it for the child.
It's amazing to see the difference that staff can make to a family who have a child with complex needs or complex and life-limiting needs, in the sense that we can bring health and safety to the child, and we can allow the parents, if it's a night shift, to sleep at night, which is really important, and to lead as normal a life as possible once they know that there are nurses in the house who are really skilled at what they do and can take care of the most precious loved one that they have. That's really important to us, and it brings me great joy and peace of mind to see the difference that we make in these families' lives.
You know, there's a lot of trust involved here with the nurses, getting the experience, but the value that we would place on them, it's immeasurable because they are going out into the family home with very sick children, with complex needs. That's immeasurable what we do for those particular families. And to know at the moment that we have hundreds of Irish nurses and international nurses from all around the world who are making a difference to the lives of families in the 26 counties of this country. That makes it, for me, you know, a wonderful job, but for the nurses to also feel valued in what they do.
My name is Bernice O'Rourke. I'm CEO with Communicare Healthcare. My role really in the company is to ensure that we deliver safe services and quality services to the clients that we look after across the country. And also, of course, to look after the hundreds of staff we have delivering the service. Because although we put the client at the centre of everything we do, we can't do it without staff. And our staff are very valued and they underpin the services that we offer.
So my name is Keith Delaney and I'm National Services Manager with Communicare Healthcare. The role that I'm in is involved with nurses and in paediatrics, which is obviously very close to my heart, with working with young children. You know, it involves recruitment from an early stage with nurses coming from abroad. So initially we will start off the process with an interview with the Paediatric Clinical Director, Niamh and myself. We will conduct an interview over Skype or over Zoom. And over the course of an hour, we'll talk to nurse through her CV, her paediatric skills. But it's not just the clinical aspect that we're looking for here with the nurses. Moving from any country in the world, you know, we're dealing with nurses who, there are some who are single. Mostly the nurses are married. They have husbands, they have children. And it's so important, you know, for them to realize when you're traveling halfway around the world, it's not just a job you're coming for with Communicare, it's a whole change of life. And the nurses, the cultures that they're all coming from, they're so varied and so different, and I think it's one of the best parts of my job is getting to know the nurses individually, their families, you know, how things worked for them. Yes, they're all nurses, and they're fantastic nurses, but that is, again, just one part of the role.
I'm Kenny. I'm originally came from Philippines, so I come here in Ireland 3 years ago, and I choose Communicare because I think I belong here, and then it feels like they are so accommodating. Every personnel is so friendly and they are approachable to be with, and they are supporting you from the start. When I arrive here, they provide the training as well as they support after the training with all the pediatric skills such as tracheostomy, changing ties, such as PEG, and everything is for free. If we need more additional training and more inquiry about it, the care manager will support for us.
My name is Katie and I'm a client care manager for our paediatric home care service. My role is to ensure a safe discharge from hospital to home while supporting our nurses to look after these complex paediatric patients in the community. I also work with our National Service Support Manager so that we have the right supports in place for each of our nurses, which include transport and accommodation. We, at Communicare, believe providing specialised training through our Paediatric Training Academy for nurses is so very important. We facilitate and provide education to all our healthcare workers as needed.
Initially, of course, when they get here, they obviously have to sit an exam to, get their PIN number to work in the country. But once that's done, then we have the whole process of getting them settled into Ireland. And as a company, we're foremost in that at the moment we look after all travel arrangements, all costs. The nurses don't have to pay for anything. We look after all of that for them from the time they come up to Dublin Airport, where they're met by our team. We meet them at the airport, we move them into accommodation. Everything is looked after for them. It's all free. There's no charge to any of the nurses for any of this. It is all looked after. Initially, when the nurses will have passed their exams, we then have to start the process of organising their PPS numbers, getting them online, their revenue accounts. Your immigration is looked after. Your accommodation, wherever it is you may be, we will source that for you. Even when your initial period is up with us with your training, once you are placed, then I will go to the town or the city of where maybe you're going to work. We will organise accommodation for you there, be it a one-bed apartment, a two-bed apartment or houses. Yes, it is a big challenge, it's a big move, but the nurses, in fairness, they've travelled here, and again, the support that they have been receiving so far, they're very happy with all of this.
Hi, my name is Christine Kate Canlas. I'm a nurse for 14 years now in this profession. I've worked in several countries such as Dubai, UK, Philippines, and now I'm in Ireland, in Donegal. I heard a lot of good things in Ireland, especially about the people, the culture, and the nature. I love it. So I chose Ireland here to work with Communicare. Recently, I've been offered a good promotion, a client care manager. So they are very supportive. If you want to be one of us, there is a good opportunity for you in your career. You can climb up in your ladder in terms of your nursing profession. Personally, I enjoyed challenging cases. I've been to different cases which are very challenging and rare, such as osteogenesis imperfecta, seizure disorders. But these cases, you will work with the family, with your care team, care manager specifically. So you will not be left alone. You will be supported with the team.
That's my dream, that people live their best life no matter what age they are, and that makes me happy.
Hi, my name is Niamh Collins and I'm the Paediatric Clinical Director for Communicare Healthcare. I'm both a paediatric and general nurse myself and have been working as a paediatric nurse for the last 25 years. I trained in the National Children's Hospital Temple Street, and I have always been working with children with complex care needs in the home care setting. I love my job with Communicare because I'm working with a great team of nurses, nurse managers and carers, and I also get to work with these children myself in the home care setting. I would be very involved from the beginning, taking these children home from the hospital, or for some of these children who are already home, I would be very much involved with the whole process. Everything is up to date before the child comes home. The risk assessment is done, that it's safe to nurse this child in the home care setting. All our nurses going in have received training or additional training depending on what is wrong with the child, what extra supports are needed for our nurses taking this child home, or what extra supports are needed for the family to bring this child home safely. But we would never let any of our team of nurses or carers in without all training being provided for them.
My name is Alice Dube and I'm from Zimbabwe. I have 12 years experience as a nurse. I worked in a medical department and a surgical department, and I also went for midwifery training. So the great news is I've been here for the past 10 months and I've brought my family. Communicare supported me all the way from the visa application until they landed. Communicare supported me since I was still back home in Zimbabwe with doing online lessons. They gave us a tutor, Miss Ken, and when we arrived here, someone was already waiting for us at the airport. We had free accommodation, we were given allowance, and I think I would absolutely recommend my friends to come and join Communicare.
We have hundreds of nurses and carers across the country, wonderful Irish nurses, and we're also very lucky to welcome into our family nurses from all over the world, from Africa, India, the Philippines, America, and all over Europe. And it's wonderful for me to see how welcomed they are here as into our society, into Irish society, and also within the company. And it's lovely to see how they put down roots and settle into villages and towns across Ireland, and how they're making lives for themselves and growing within the community and being valuable assets to that community, really, as they are with Communicare.
I'm Rosaleen Kelly. I'm the founder and managing director of Communicare Healthcare. I have a combined 40-year plus history in the healthcare industry. And my son, Mark, he's a psychiatric nurse as well. He joined the company a few years after he qualified, and we're a great team. We get on quite well together, actually. I feel it's very important that people are allowed to stay in their home for as long as possible, because they feel more comfortable, they feel more at ease, and the carers and the nurses that go into them have a great rapport with them. It's hugely important for them. They feel more secure, they feel safer, and they feel a lot more content. Care can be anything from an hour to a few hours. It can be for a short call. It can be a few times a day. It can be an overnight. It doesn't matter. The carer or the nurse is introduced to the client, and they all have to be happy with one another before care starts.
What works really well here is the team environment, where our staff, both nurses and carers, work in teams, and people don't feel that they're working in a lone worker situation. We have 24-hour care, 365 days of the year. We are never, ever off. And myself and senior managers are always available if there's any issues or concerns that staff or clients might have. And I think for staff, working on rosters really works for them, because they can pick and choose their own hours, and it brings a lot more work-life balance when they're working, and there's no issue around availability and so forth. And the rosters are generally issued approximately a month in advance for staff, making it much easier for them to plan activities outside work, which we really encourage in trying to build that work-life balance.
It's very interesting how quickly a bond is formed between the parents, the nurse, and the child. And that is incredible.
For me in Communicare, it's about every child living their best life. It's so important, the values and the morals that we have within the company. It's a family-run business, so it's family-centred care. Along with providing community home care service, we are now offering children's respite service in the west of Ireland. We're delighted to be able to provide this service, as we are now able to take these children in for respite, and this will be home from home for our children.
I've seen children over the last 8 and 9 years that we've been looking after who have grown up, who've gone to school, and it's amazing. So that brings us great joy here in the company.
It's a nurse-led company, and that's instilled in all of us. And even if we're not clinical, it's still instilled in you.
It's written in our mission statement that we're providing the best quality service, that our ethos is the client is always number one, and that they're being looked after to their very best of all our ability.
I'd like you to come and join us here working in Communicare, because I think Communicare is a great company. It's a family business, and I love working here.